Google was just granted a patent that would allow them to analyze background noises during phone calls, they say, to target ads on that information. Colonel Cedric Layton, cybersecurity consultant, joins us this evening. Thank you, Colonel, for being with us again.
My pleasure, Judge.
All right. Now, Google gets this new patent. It's something about advertising based on environmental conditions. What does it do?
Well, basically what it's designed to do is it's supposed to give Google a way of listening in on your phone conversations, but not necessarily listening to the speech that you're using as you're talking to your friends, but what it does do is it allows them to pick up the environmental noises that are going on around you. So, for example, let's say you're walking down the street and they happen to hear, a particular noise from a store or something like that. They can pick up that noise.
Or a bell.
Anything like that. And they can use that ambient noise to send a directed advertisement to you. So let's say you're sitting on the beach, you need swimwear, guess what? They'll send you a swimwear advertisement.
All right. Now, in order to hear the background noise behind you so that they can target ads, doesn't that mean they're listening to your conversation?
They have to be. There is no way. Now, what they can do is they can use technology to strip out the voice and then just go into the background area. They can do that, but it's very hard to do that in real time. So if they did it under normal ways, under normal conditions, it would take them a long time to actually send you that message.
But the patent that they've got doesn't require them to do that. And I got to tell you, Colonel, with all due respect, I mean, isn't that a violation of the federal wiretapping statute?
Well, it would have to be certainly something that borders it, Judge, because what happens there is they are listening in exactly in the way that the wiretapping statute was intended to stop people from listening in. They are doing something that is really against all of the freedoms that we're looking for. And it is very, very difficult for Google to say that they are not listening in on what you're saying, because they have to do that in order to pick up the ambient noise of the conversation in the background to your conversation.
Of course. And as a global cyber expert and a former intelligence officer, does this concern you?
Very much, because what we're looking at here is what kind of training does Google have? What kind of training are they giving their employees? When I was in the military and working these kinds of issues, we got extensive training that told us these are the things you can do, these are the things you can't do, this is how you need to get a warrant, this is when you need to get a warrant, and these are the kinds of things that we have protections
Colonel,
against.
They don't need to get a warrant. They can just listen in if it's their phone.
Well, and that's part of the problem, because people are buying these phones without really understanding what they're giving up.
All right, let's listen to what Google has to say. They respond by saying, "We file patent applications on a variety of ideas that our employees come up with. Some of those ideas later mature into real products or services. Some don't. Prospective product announcements should not necessarily be inferred from our patent applications that were granted." All right, now, whatever. Google gets the patent. And at the end of the day, I'm an undercover cop. I'm a battered woman in a shelter for battered women. I'm in witness protection. I don't want anyone to know where I am or listening to my conversations, because maybe if they hear a train, I've seen this in movies all the time.
Absolutely, and it does happen in real life.
There are no safeguards.
That's the problem. And Google says that they will have opt-out capabilities for people.
What, like us opting out on the do not track and all that?
Exactly, very similar to that. And the problem with that is it's very hard often for consumers to find these data points and these buttons. But what actually happens is that they still track you no matter what they do.
All right, real fast, Colonel. Patent allows them to analyze background of photos that you take on your videos and your phone. What are the implications?
All kinds of implications. They can tell where you live, they can tell where you've been, they can tell possibly where you're going. All of the kinds of classic things that people do in espionage thrillers that can really create problems for people in a battered women's shelter, in witness protection, undercover people that are working for the U.S. government, all kinds of possibilities, and it's a real problem for our liberties in general.
Well, Colonel, it's always good to have you, and I got to tell you, it seems like Google is taking us into the abyss.
I'm afraid
Thanks
so.
for being with us.